President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi arrived on Friday in India, where he is due to participate in the two-day group of G20 summit starting on Saturday. The president will address the G20 summit on different topics of concern to developing nations, particularly African ones, as Egypt is the guest of honor at this round of the meetings.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi arrives in India on Friday to participate in the Group of 20 summit, which will be held in the city of New Delhi. President al-Sisi's participation came upon an invitation of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, whose country currently holds the presidency of the G20, as Egypt is the guest of honor of this edition. During the summit, President al-Sisi is expected to focus on issues that concern developing countries, particularly the African ones. The president will emphasize the need to enhance international efforts to facilitate the integration of developing countries into the global economy and to provide effective support for them to achieve sustainable development goals. El-Sisi will also stress the importance of advanced countries committing to their obligations within international agreements and mechanisms to address climate change and enabling developing countries to increase their reliance on new and renewable energy sources. The official presidency spokesperson, Councillor Ahmed Fahmy, said President El-Sisi's visit to India will also include holding some bilateral meetings on the sidelines of the G20 summit. India's G20 Sherpa, Amitabh Kant, said on Friday that the summit's concluding statement, the leaders' declaration, will be a voice of the global south and developing countries. The G20, a group of 19 countries, and the European Union that account for 80% of the world's economic output. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has made India's G20 presidency a major priority. He has conducted a year-long promotional campaign that has included over 200 meetings in 56 cities, posters featuring large images of Modi promoting the summit, and extensive educational efforts about India's presidency in schools. World leaders expected to attend include American President Joe Biden, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, French President Emmanuel Macron, British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, Saudi Arabia's Mohammed bin Salman, Japan's Fumio Kishida. In addition, Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, Argentine President Alberto Fernandez, and IMF Chief Cristina Georgieva. The ambitious agenda for the summit include promoting global economic growth, addressing climate change, and strengthening global health security, as well as discussing the repercussions of the Russian-Ukrainian war on food and energy crises.
With the several leaders already in New Delhi, G20 hosts India were scrambling for agreement on pressing issues like the Ukraine war, climate and global governance. As the summit takes place, they will host the leaders of Venezuela and Zambia in Beijing. The failure of G20 leaders to agree a joint summit statement, a usually routine diplomatic affair, could be seen as an embarrassment for India and for Italian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's claim of uniting developing and richer members. Modi looks set to secure at least one concrete step in that direction, with the several leaders expressing support for expanding the bloc into the G21 and including the African Union as a permanent member. U.S. President Joe Biden, who arrived in New Delhi, also insisted that the meeting would still deliver, even as markets fretted that a trade war between the world's two largest economies was poised to escalate. Under the auspices of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, the Global Congress on Population Health and Development concluded its activities on Friday. 2 sessions were held on investment in human resources being a key factor in development efforts and on means of improving demographic features. Earlier, Minister of Health and Population Khaled Abdul Ghaffar said overpopulation is the biggest challenge facing development, noting that it's a 6-decade-old problem. Now, TV's correspondent Hani Farag had this exclusive interview with the European Union Ambassador in Egypt, Christian Berger, who hailed the state's efforts to improve the health service introduced to the citizens.
Look, I think this is a very important conference. It comes at an important moment in time. I mean, there is a very strong population growth here in the country, and I think the country, the government, the president have recognized this is as an important challenge to the development, to achieving the goals the country has set itself in the 2030 vision. So I think the conference today and the whole week, we have been discussing many of these issues that are pertaining to this topic. So, and it's not the first time. I mean, Egypt hosted already 30 years ago, hosted an important international conference on population and health, and I think here to have it today again in this very particular moment, we have just come out of the health pandemic of COVID-19, so there are many aspects that we can discuss. Well, first of all, I think one of the main messages was we are not alone. We need to work together. All stakeholders around the world have to address these issues, be it population growth, be it healthcare. We as European Union, we have just adopted a new global health strategy where health and the health system and making sure that the health apparatus is working properly is in the center of what we want to do. Health is also an important part of the European Union-Egypt partnership where we work together. We are investing in the health sectors.
We'll come to the points.
Via, for example, Haya Karima. Look, we have, and I've been traveling a lot in the country, so I've seen many of the clinics and community centers, population centers that we are supporting, where there is a marked improvement of life, of the conditions, of the quality conditions of life. So of course this is Haya Karima itself, and we are trying to support this. So out of our, I think it's about 40 million support that we give to euros that we give to the Haya Karima, but there's an important component, about 14 million euros is earmarked for health, purely for health.
The joint Egyptian-American military drills Bright Star 2023 continued Friday with the participating of more than 8,000 combatants from 34 countries. The drills kicked off on August 31st and will continue till September 14th.
The joint Egyptian-American military exercises Bright Star 2023 continued its activities on Friday. The training is taking place at the combat training fields at Mohammed Naguib military base and a number of naval and air bases in Egypt. More than 8,000 fighters from 19 countries are participating, in addition to the participation of 15 other countries as an observer, in addition to the participation of members of the civil police and number of legal experts from the International Committee of the Red Cross. The past few days witnessed the influx of participating forces and movement to specialized training areas and fields in preparation for the beginning of the exercises and its activities. American Brigadier General Matthew Reed, the Deputy Commanding General, Training and Education Command, thanked the Egyptian Armed Forces hosting the joint Egyptian-American training. He said that the training enhances joint capabilities to solve problems, confront challenges, and unify military concepts between the country's armed forces. The commanders of the participating countries' forces inspected an exhibition of weapons and equipment involved in the training, expressing their happiness at the high morale of the participating forces from various countries. Exercise Bright Star 2023 features command post exercise, field training exercise, and senior leader seminar held with Egypt and other partner nations. It was initially conceptualized as a bilateral training exercise between the US and Egypt during the Camp David Accord of 1977. The first edition of the exercise was conducted in 1980 in Egypt. From 1995 onwards, the exercise was expanded for participation by other nations. The previous edition was held in 2021 with the participation of 21 countries.